Yesterday was a rough one for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think I think I don't really have allergies. Well, I've been getting allergy drops for almost at least 8 months now, but I think the pollen because there was a record amount of pollen like the last few days in
Oh,
Georgia,
yeah.
like the highest ever recorded. And my allergies, it kind of makes me feel like a little like dizzy. And so yesterday I was feeling like I was a little bit dizzy. I know, but I know you know that like when that happens, I get vertigo because you've been around
Yeah.
long enough to know that. Yeah, so I felt like that, but then last night I kind of slept up. Like I slept like almost like a reclining chair, so my head was steady, and I did some maneuver, and I took some allergy medicine, and I feel a lot. It's actually I'm feeling way better than I did yesterday, and good for me. It only lasted a day, so I'm good.
Okay. That's good. So does that mean that everything you said in the strategy call, you gotta repeat it again?
No, I'm with that. I'm in all that.
I know, I'm joking. I'm joking. All right, well, let's get started. Welcome, everyone. This is not an audio room about the story of Ram and Isaac. Don't worry, we're just catching up. Welcome to another Tuesday Investor Town Hall. We do this every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And our focus is the current race. We're raising $17 million. Isaac is going to do an amazing intro to the race so you can understand why the race and how much you could invest. But yeah, we do that every Tuesday. And we also do it to give you a status of how Fanbase is doing as the business, how the product is doing, if there's a release coming up, but also to hear from you and get feedback, get any questions you might have, no matter if you are a new investor or you're interested in investing, or you are a new user or someone that has been in Fanbase since day one when Fanbase audio was called direct voice. How cool was
Yep.
that? I know some of you still remember when we used to call it direct voice. But with that
OG.
said, yeah, my name is Rama. I'm the CTO for Fanbase, and I have the pleasure to be here with Mr. Isaac Hayes III, our CEO and founder. And with that said, let's start talking about the race and our progress so far.
Yeah. Good afternoon, or yeah, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Isaac Hayes, third founder and CEO of Fanbase. This is the Fanbase Investor Town Hall held every Tuesday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. only on Fanbase, where we talk about our current equity crowdfund raise, which is now at almost $11.2 million. We're going to $17 million. So you right now can invest in Fanbase for $399, the minimum of $399, at startengine.com/fanbase. And that gets you 60 shares of Fanbase stock at 665 a share, at a valuation of $160 million. And so the raise has been going very, very well. We're pushing, we got past 11 million over the weekend in the last week, or starting off this week at about 1.2 million. Media platform that's the social economy, which is really rare. I don't ever think there's been a startup from the social media perspective that's been founded with the community in this way that allows people to invest and have equity. So we're glad to be here.
Yes, we are. Let's do some quick questions that I know are going to come up or usually come up for those that are interested.
Hmm.
Let's repeat it again for everyone. What's the minimum to invest?
The minimum to invest in Fanbase is $399.
That is correct. Now, we did get some comments this week about some of you investing 399, then suddenly you were asked to invest more money. Make sure that you're not subscribing to anything else as you invest in Fanbase. You don't have to do anything else, but the minimum is indeed 399 as well. So just wanted to clarify that. How much or what's the maximum I can invest?
The maximum that you can invest is whatever you want. And so there's a little less than $6 million available in this last portion of the round. And so if someone wants to invest $6 million, they're more than welcome to. In fact, we're hoping to have that happen very shortly. I just want to put that out there that if somebody comes along and puts $5 million into fan base in the next few days, we told you. No, I'm kidding. But that's very possible and can happen. And so but we love that we have there's no limit on the amount that people can invest. So
Definitely. What about the times that I can invest? How many times can I invest?
You can invest as many times as you want to. In fact, we've had investors that are probably in this room that have invested over multiple rounds since 2020 all the way till now. I've had people say I've invested in round one, two, three, and four. So that's cool. You stack those investments up, and there's no limit.
Love it. Um, I just invested in Fanbase. How do I stay up to date with everything that is going on in the company and my related to my investment?
So this is a I'm gonna this might I'm gonna take a little bit longer to answer this question. First and foremost, when you invest in Fanbase, you have to create a Start Engine account on Start Engine. So when you create that account, your Start Engine account is basically your wallet for your shares. So it's your portfolio for your fan base stock. So whenever you want to know the status of your fan base investment or your stock, always log into your Start Engine account. The reason why I'm highlighting that is I think isn't a week that goes by that I get some sort of message on my social media somewhere and someone saying, "Hey, I invested in fan base and I haven't heard anything from you guys." And I always respond that the first place you want to make sure you check on your investment is in your Start Engine account, because that's where your shares are always held and will be held. And so that's important. Well, once you've completed your investment, um, you will get updates on the Start Engine page, or you'll get an investor newsletter that we put out at least once a month. Um, and again, I think we update the Start Engine page at least two times a week with new investor updates. And then if you don't invest, you can still follow the campaign and keep up to date with the investor updates that we do have. So there's always a time for you to do that. So that's how you stay aware of what's going on.
Definitely. And obviously, you can always come here at any given Tuesday, and we have several rooms where you can stay up to date on the campaign as well.
Yeah.
But something that we promise ourselves in this race is to stay really, really close to our investors. They're the reason why we're here. I want to make sure that we are as transparent as we can be and give them as many channels to communicate as possible. So I love that. Let's talk a little bit about what makes Fundbase different than any other investment out there. You briefly touched it on the introduction you did, but I want to emphasize why is Fundbase different than other type of investments that you might do, in the stock market and so on.
Well, first, this is a pre-IPO investment. And I get that question too. When am I going to see a return on my fan base investment, or like, do we get paid dividends? And so I actually got a really cool message on LinkedIn last Friday, and someone was commending the fact that what makes Fanbase unique is that the majority of value that is found in a company is when it's privately held before it goes IPO or goes public. And so with Fanbase, we're still a privately held company. So the value in the growth that comes through this company scaling at this stage is where the most value comes from. And usually that is available to accredited investors. But by choosing equity crowdfunding, that allows fan base to offer the opportunity for the general public to have the same access to invest in a startup that the rich guys do. I even posted a post last week of all the Uber founders and how much money they made when they invested in Uber, the same way that everybody has been investing in fan base. And there are people that have made millions and millions of dollars. But the difference is those guys were already rich people. So imagine being worth, 50, $100 million and putting $5,000 into a startup and then having that turn into $24 million. That's cool, but the fact that you already have to be rich to have that opportunity is not fair. And so that's what equity crowdfunding does for us. Equity crowdfunding allows everybody to have a seat at the table and be able to invest in fan bases. So we're happy to do that.
Love it. Let's talk about several reasons why investing in Fundbase can also give you some extra perks. Okay, so we do have they're really there are 5 tiers, but I said there's 6 extra perks on that will push you into investing in Fundbase. The first one is if you are an existing investor, meaning that you have invested in any of the prior 3 rounds, and you invest again this round, you're gonna get automatically a 5% bonus shares. Okay. And then, depending on how much you invest, you can get different perks. Let's go through all 5 tiers so you can see what you could get. And I'll go deeper into if we can stack these perks and so on. All right. So tier one is if you invest $600 or more, um, you will be part of our early access list to fan-based features. Okay. Now, I want to spend a little bit of time on this because as we grow and as we start raising the bar, we're growing the team, we're scaling the product. And as we do that, we are improving our release flow, meaning with specific features, we definitely want to involve more our early access list, either investors or those that have signed up for beta testing as well. And so we're going to restarting to do this in 2025. So definitely you want to be part of that list. Okay, $600 or more, you're part of tier one, and you're part of that early access list. If you invest $1,000, you're part of tier two. In tier two, you're also part of that list, but you're also going to get 10,000 labs that you can use in the platform to support any creator. And you're also going to get a verified profile badge, a blue badge. Okay. Tier three is $2,500 or more. And you're going to get 15,000 labs instead of 10,000 labs. You will get also a fan-based t-shirt. We started, I know several of you have been waiting for some time, and finally the t-shirts have arrived. And we started shipping all of those for those that are part of tier three and above. So I want to see everyone wearing it, and I want to see everyone creating content and sharing as well with those t-shirts. All right. You also get a verified profile badge on tier three, which is a blue badge. Okay. Tier four is $5,000 or more. You're gonna get everything that I just shared for tier three, 20,000 labs instead of 15,000 labs. You also get a t-shirt. You're gonna get an early investor gold verified profile badge. That's a gold verified badge. And then you're also gonna get 5% bonus shares. So think about this. If you invested in the past in any of the prior 3 rounds, and you invest again in this round, $5,000 or more, you're gonna get 10% bonus shares. 5% for being a prior investor, and 5% for being part of tier four. And then last but not least, tier five, AKA diamond investors. If you invest $10,000 or more, you're gonna get everything that I share on the prior tiers, 30,000 labs instead of 20,000, a t-shirt, the early investor gold verified profile badge. You're also gonna get a private dinner with us once we close the race. I can't wait for that day because we're gonna get every single diamond investor from all prior 4 rounds, and we're gonna be celebrating together for the next phase of Fanbase. And then last but not least, you're gonna get 10% bonus shares. Again, if you are a prior investor that invested in the past 3 rounds, you're gonna get 15% bonus shares if you invest $10,000 or more in this round. Okay, so really 6 additional reasons why you can invest or you should invest in Fanbase as well. Okay, I will say that just like Isaac mentioned, you can invest as many times as you want, and you can really invest as much as you want, up to, of course, the $17 million, which is our goal for this race. So if you invest several times, we will honor stacking your investment. So let's say, for example, you invest $600 and then you invest $2,000 the next month. We can match both investments. Make sure you make those investments with the same account so you make it easier for us. Then we can consider you as part of tier three versus tier one. Okay. So if you're already invested and for any reason you want to get some of these perks and you want to help push Fanbase, you can invest again, contact tech support, and we'll gladly stack your perks and assign them to you as well. All right. So with that said, that's the additional perks and reasons why you can invest in Fanbase. I say let's take a little break, Isaac, and see if we have any questions from our amazing audience. All right. Let's see. I see someone saying we got to record these answers and post them. It's a lot of repeated questions being answered. It is. It is. We actually do have a lot of these questions in FAQ on the Start Engine page. And when we do the watch party, so you know, The watch party actually gets recorded. So if you go to the Fanbase's YouTube page, you will be able to see some of the recording for the town hall in the past, where we also answer a lot of these questions as well. Okay. All right. Someone, I'll leave you this one, Isaac. Someone says, I don't think TikTok is going to get banned this weekend. I asked top creators who have a relationship with TikTok, and TikTok is steadily hiring. You never know. They haven't announced anything yet. So for us, we plan for the worst. What do you think, Isaac?
Well, it's always better to be safe than sorry. And so there is a law in place that Congress and the Supreme Court and the previous president have all signed off on. And so um, the likelihood that TikTok will be here is highly likely, but it could be a time that it goes dark, even as a negotiation strategy to force a sale. So we still want to be prepared to take advantage of any users that might want to just join a platform or figure it out. And so um, we'll continue to do that and operate business as usual. But what we will talk about is that fan base reached at 1.1 million plus users before the TikTok ban. And so we were having success in building community before the ban, and we'll continue to build community with or without a ban. Because that's, that doesn't determine our success, whether TikTok exists or not. So we'll see what happens though.
I love that you said that because I was going to say that, the TikTok, if it happens, it's a good event, but if not, we're going to continue our path and our growth because, we know we're different regardless. So love that. Okay. Um, so I saw someone said that they were having issues with Start Engine. What I will say that we haven't mentioned yet, if you are having issues with Start Engine and investing, they do have a support team. But if for some reason you cannot get through their support team, you can reach out to us at investment@fanbase.app and we'll gladly assist you. We'll help you escalate if we need to escalate. So please don't get frustrated and give up. We want you to be part of the Fanbase family. So make sure that if strategy for any reason is not solving your issues, to reach out at investment@fanbase.app. Okay. All right. Let's see what else we have here. Someone said, does the escrow hold take the full 3 months?
No, it doesn't.
It shouldn't.
No, it shouldn't. The escrow hold comes off when your investment is accepted. So they do a background check, and then once your money is accepted, the escrow hold is taken off.
Yep, exactly. I know that sometimes depending on the amount that you invest, the process might take longer, but all in all, it couldn't take that much. So
Well,
definitely.
something that I saw in the chat that I want to address is someone says, when will Fanbase get chat moderators to answer basic questions for the new users? I've had saying new users they are being ignored and skipped over, but I'm like, well, I'll say this: not in these rooms, and I think for these we have Sylvana's in the chat every town hall to answer questions. So I think Joyce, there's someone in this room right now that can answer questions for users if they have them.
Yeah, and I will also say we have a very active and collaborative community, especially with our fan ambassadors. They do onboarding rooms all the time to help new users. In fact, before I joined this one, we did have a April 1st new users welcome to Fanbase. So be on the lookout for the audio room because there's definitely a lot of people that want to help build community and they're willing to answer any questions you might have.
Yeah, we're here for you. Don't think we're not.
Yeah, and stay through the audio room because we will be talking about some basic things that you can do to get closer to that payday for you. We'll talk about payday as well.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right. Let's see what else we have. Um, Didi, you know what? I just took a screenshot. I saw that you had some subscription issues. And so I'll follow up with tech support and see what's going on. And, January was a very crazy month for us overall. And tech support was slammed. But thankfully, they did a great job catching up. So maybe something might have fallen through the cracks. It shouldn't, but we'll follow up and definitely. I will say one thing as the CTO is that there's no issue that goes unsolved. It might take us a little longer than we would have liked, but everything that you report, if it is indeed an issue, gets logged into our software system. And once it's there, it has to be taken care of. It goes into our backlog, we prioritize that, and then we're going to be fixing. In fact, the next couple sprints, we're going to be doing a lot of break fixing. So a lot of you will eventually get some feedback from tech support, just letting you know that some of the things that you reported are now or should now be working properly. Okay. Isaac, you want to tell them while I keep looking for questions a little bit about why giving feedback is important and the best way to do that? I know you love
Yeah,
doing that.
well, yeah. So bug fixing, what I love to talk about is that bug fixing are like mini crimes and they have to be solved and we need evidence. And so when you shake your phone, that gives us the ability to give us a little bit of evidence of what is happening with whatever the issue you're having. And so whenever something happens that is a bug or an issue that you have, shake your phone. It gives us some technical data that allows the support team to examine, to pinpoint it. Because one thing I say about bugs all the time is sometimes bugs can be app wide, but sometimes bugs can be device specific. So something that is happening to you may not be happening to everyone. And so that's why that technical data is really, really important because it helps us pinpoint, it's anonymous data, but it's like what device you're on. Um, what operating system, things like that. Because, for every operating system update, for every iPhone, Android phone, there's all these different versions of software and hardware. And it could be a combination of those that create a bug. And so that's why it's important to send that technical data and shake your phone. It's not just, it's really not efficient to just tell any member of the fan base team what's wrong. The shaking the phone is really, really important. And that's why.
Definitely. Someone asked about the structure of the company and just who makes decisions for the company, hiring, firing, salaries. Obviously, as Isaac mentioned, we are a privately held company. We take ownership at heart. We do have a advisory board. We're actually looking into growing it, and we do have also an operations team, and we have a product marketing, product development team. And in the past, I would say, what year and a half, Isaac, we really focus on setting the structure for growth, especially on the operational side, right? Building HR system, bringing benefits. And finally, we are at a point in this race where we can start growing the team. And all the work that we've done operationally, I think in the last year and a half, is helping us to start bringing good talent into the company, right? So,
Yeah, I'm
um,
excited.
yeah,
I've been seeing, I think one of the things that this raise has allowed us to do is to start to scale the development team, to scale the company, hiring new people and building on a really solid foundation to deliver more of what we expect. And I think that's one of the things that I said all the time is that our goal is to make Fanbase just the best product for creators worldwide. And so to do that, you need talented people and that takes time. Finding talented people takes time. You gotta
it does.
you got yeah, I've really been, seeing, the detail that goes into it. And there's strategies and ways to do that. But there's a lot of great talent out there. And I think even stateside, um, in America here, we're building a team even locally here in Atlanta. So I'm excited about that. Ramiro and we've been, seeing some people that are who are really interested in bringing on board. It's really, I say this, this point for me, um, is just about achieving excellence. And I think that the raise gives us the ability to compete. This is a competitive business, and I think that without amazing people, you can't really build the vision that you have. And so I'm really happy that we're looking people that have had, there's some impressive resumes. I saw a resume yesterday, I think, from Ramiro. I was like, I hit you back and told you how impressive that resume is.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm excited about that. Like we really, really, get an opportunity to hire some great people.
Yeah, let's talk briefly about that, and then we'll go into some. There's some great questions out there. So you're aware, we're growing. Like we said, we're looking for local and international talent as well. Um, if you go to fanbase.app/careers, you're going to see some of our openings. We're looking for a product owner that can help us take the product to a next level. We're looking for a product marketing manager as well, and we're growing for several other resources in the product marketing team and development team as well. So if you're curious, or if you know anyone that could fit perfectly with Fanbase, tell them to go to fanbase.app/careers and apply as well. Oh, and another thing, we're also starting to uh, uh, build HBCU pipelines. We have some HBCU opportunities. If you know anyone that is graduating and wants to be part of Fanbase, we're definitely want to give those that have a lot of talent an opportunity to come into the world and do some real disruption. So, also, if you know anyone that is graduating, Fanbase is looking for folks like that. Okay. Isaac, you like this one. Someone said, because this is very creative, creator focused like us. What is the benefit for creators to bring their followers over to Fanbase?
Well, that's a great question. Well, I'll say this. I think that um, we are at a point right now where the legacy platforms have really kind of maximized or kind of let you know what their interest is. And it's not necessarily the focus is on the creator, the focus is on profit for them through advertising. And I wanted to build fan base so that there is no limit on the ability for you to scale your audience and grow. Now, what I will say is driving people away from legacy platforms to platforms like Fanbase is more successful than driving people to the legacy platform. So, meaning the people that drive people away off of TikTok, off of Instagram to a place like Fanbase where they can build a real community that is not suppressed or shadow banned or censored in any way is far more and monetized through subscription and tipping is better than trying to build a community on Instagram and then turn that growth into some sort of opportunity for brand deals. And I had an extensive conversation about that most creators, especially black creators, I had a black creator conversation that black creators don't even really get paid. Oh, it was an interview I just did last week. The interview that I did that's coming out this week, that black creators don't even make money from the platforms themselves. They have the way that most black creators make money for brand deals. And then even in those brand deals, they are paid less than white creators. And so I wanted fan base to be all things equal, right? So starting from wherever you are on this platform, you have the ability to scale your following without interruption, without suppression. So that's the advantage of building your community on fan base because it's something that you have a lot more control over and a lot more access and freedom to do, and a better way to monetize your product and your community.
Love it. Another good question. What is the reason Fanbase chose Start Engine over other crowdfunding services?
I think that was just a blessing. So I think it's community, really. I'll say that it was community. So one of my colleagues suggested equity crowdfunding. And there's a woman by the name of Angela Benton who had raised capital on Start Engine. And so Angela Benton made the referral for me to raise capital on Start Engine. And that's how. Now, what I can say is out of all of the equity crowdfunding platforms, I know for certain that Start Engine is the most thorough in the due diligence that you have to do and the compliance that you have to do with raising. And I actually like that because for me being a first time founder, it forced me to learn more about my business than I would have if I would have just been able to launch around, raise some money, and get to it. So the things that you have to learn as a founder and being compliant to launch even a Reg CF campaign, you have to know your financials, you have to understand your stock structure, you have to understand your cap table, you have to understand all of these things. And so Starting was just wound up being the best choice because they are the most thorough. And we continue to work with Start Engine. This is our fourth crowdfund with Start Engine, our fourth successful crowdfund with Start Engine. So I really appreciate the team over at Start Engine for taking this journey with us and being a partner in what we do.
And I have to say that I'm a witness to that, Isaac, too. Since the first time that we raised money, the first dollar, it's incredible how both of us really came along and how much we learned through the journey, right? Even with this
Yeah,
reggae
yeah,
process,
reggae,
which
yeah,
was very, very extensive. And, kudos to Silvana, who also helped, and Ebony as well. And, it was definitely a learning curve, but it made us better people overall.
100%. When I mentor people about what platform to raise on, I suggest Start Engine because of the difficulty. Because if you're entering this business and really don't know how to structure your company, it can save you down the line for things that might come up and how you're able to do that. Like I actually look at crowd funds. I look at other campaign pages on other platforms from time to time, and I actually see some of the way that these crowd funds are set up, and I kind of shake my head. I'm like, why are they doing that? Or why are they offering this type of security? Or why are they revealing this type of information that doesn't necessarily go well? And so I think for me, I think I've become somewhat of a subject matter expert on equity crowdfunding, um, because
Oh, yeah.
you just learn you learn the lay of the land, and then you understand the process and becoming compliant. And I'm very very aggressive with uh, those that I mentor to raise. I think, a matter of fact, I think we have a round launching a crowdfund for someone that I recommended to start engine launching soon. But I was tough on them, and then but I left it up to them though. Like, look, if you're not gonna if you don't get it done, you're not gonna get it done, and they've been able to do it. So I'm
Yep.
excited.
Yep. Another great question that we haven't talked about. This round only open to USA investors, and the answer is no. It's open to everyone in the world except Canada and UK. In the UK, if you are an institutional or accredited investor, sorry, you will be able to invest. But unaccredited investor in the UK and then Canada, both accredited and unaccredited, you won't be able to invest, unfortunately. But everywhere in the world, you should. If you have any difficulties, again, reach out to us so we can help. But you should be able to invest. And in fact, we take pride that we also have investors across the entire world, which is exciting. All right.
Yes, sir.
All right. Um, Let me see. I'm going through this. A lot of questions, a lot of comments. But you know what? Let's just take a little break from questions because we need to talk about today is April 1st.
Hmm.
And like I said, it's no joke that today is payday. Let's talk a little bit about payday, Isaac. And I also want to hear from our audience how many of you got paid? And if you didn't get paid, how far are you from our minimum threshold? But first, Isaac, tell us a little bit about payday and the adjustment we did not long ago that made us even have a lower friction and threshold than anywhere
Yeah.
else.
So we pay out the first of every month. And the payment threshold on Fanbase is $5. I think it's the lowest out of most social media platforms out there that offer monetization. So anything over $5 gets paid out to you the first of every month. Um, we live in a tough economy at the time, and every dollar counts and can help. And so $50, $10, $25 can really make a difference in a month. That could be gas money, that could be food, it could be whatever, something that could go towards a bill. And so um, that process of getting paid on Fanbase and lowering that threshold, I like that because we consider all users creators. Everybody that's on this platform right now is a content creator in one way, shape, or form, whether that's in the comment section, whether it's in liking posts, loving posts, having conversations in DMs, going live in audio chat, just doing all sorts of things. And so the ability for you to monetize all of that and make money puts you in a position to reach that $5 threshold and get paid out. And once you see that, you'll realize there's a bigger world of opportunity in being on a platform like Fanbase versus other platforms. We interesting stat came from John from our senior marketing advisor talking about it takes most content creators, I think, 6 months to make their first dollar on other social media platforms. And we see that people on Fanbase make their first dollar in a day, sometimes in hours. And that's pretty amazing to say that just the nature and the construct of the business model that allow people to be transactional and supportive through tipping or subscriptions allow you to have the opportunity to make money faster than any other platform. And that's a big deal.
It is a big deal. It is a big deal. So I'm seeing already some folks that say that they got paid, which is exciting. And we'll talk a little bit about how you can get closer to that minimal threshold and get paid in Fanbase if it's your first time. But I want to answer one question. Maybe we might have skipped. Someone asked about the method of valuation that we use. I'm just gonna mention without going into too much detail, but we use comparables with other alike companies in the industry that have been at the same time that we were when we did our evaluation before this race. Is based on growth, the assets that Fanbase has. We've been building the product for many, many years. The IP that we have several patent pendings, trademarks, and then there's obviously some intangibles as well there in every valuation. So hopefully that answers your question. Again, I'm sorry if we skip or we miss some of the questions, but there's a lot going on in the chat. Um, but let's talk about what I just mentioned, Isaac. So someone here on Fanbase, uh, share with everyone some basic things that anyone can do to start monetizing and building community inside Fanbase.
You're talking about best practices.
Mhm.
So um, we have a set of 9 things you should do to have the best experience on Fanbase that give you the best opportunity to maximize reach, engagement, and earnings, right? The first thing is creating a Fanbase profile. So if you're in this room, you've already done step 1. You've made a Fanbase profile. Now, step 2, I can see that some of you haven't done that, which is if you're in this room right now and you have a gray F over your name, that means you haven't migrated or completed your profile. So you can migrate up to 1,000 posts from either Instagram or TikTok and import them to your Fanbase page. What that does is it populates your page with content from the other platforms. It takes your bio, your profile picture, and all the captions from the content up to 1,000 and puts them on Fanbase. So you look present on the platform. You can do that in the settings. So you go to settings and look and say migrate from either TikTok or Instagram. And it's a process. Once you follow those steps, that content migrates over. That's important because then it lets people know that you're actually here and engaged in the platform, and it just helps. Otherwise, you kind of just look like a ghost. And some people don't really want to, associate with ghosts all the time, but it just makes you look present and alive on the platform. Now, the next thing is choosing a subscription price. The default price on Fanbase is $4.99 a month. To explain that further, when you're on Fanbase, you don't subscribe to Fanbase. So Fanbase itself does not have subscribers, right? You as an individual have the opportunity to have subscribers to your profile specifically. So consider yourself your own content creation, um, streaming network, whatever it is, content provider that allows you to have subscribers. And so the default price is $4.99, but you can pick a price point as low as $2.99 or as high as $9.99 of 8 price points on Fanbase to do that. If you want to change your subscription price, you must email support to do that. It's a one-time change. So consider that. Consider what you want to change your subscription price to. We're not going to let people go back and forth. But the reason why $4.99 is the default price is because numerically it's just the most advantageous that generates the most subscriptions and revenue. So it's more affordable for people. Um, it's less intimidating, and it gives people the opportunity to participate in content again once a month. Imagine somebody paying $5 just once a month to access your content. People spend $5 a day on tons of things, and so when the price is that low, it gives the opportunity for people to feel comfortable and excited about engaging and subscribing to your fan base profile. The next thing is add fan base to your profile and your social bios. And what that is that's basically um, creating a funnel. I said previously that the people that find the most success on fan base are actually people that drive people away from legacy platforms and bring people to fan base as opposed to the opposite. Because most of these platforms don't allow you to reach your entire following. So therefore, what's the benefit in having 100,000 followers on Instagram if only 200 people see your post, or when you go live, 5 people only show up on your live? That same 200,000 following on Fanbase really creates the opportunity for you to reach more people. So driving people away. So we use things like Linktree, and we have Linktree integration to the app. You can use that and bring people over. So do that. Add that to your social bios to create that funnel to bring people over. The next is setting up your payment profile. It's the first of the month. Some of you have money in your account that hasn't been paid out because you haven't set up your payment profile and settings. Make sure you go to settings, set up your payment profile so that next month you can get paid um, for the money that's in your account, and do that. Number six is making at least 5 pieces of exclusive content. Um, and that can be by way of posts or Fanbase Plus content, but populating your page with at least 5 pieces of content um, allow people to subscribe to you with something that's just not out of the gate. Now, again, support sometimes can come through a subscription. I always say that streamers on a lot of these other platforms don't even have exclusive content. They get subscriptions just by support from the community that they have. And you can even find ways of doing that as well. But exclusive content is an added value to people that really want to support you. And the reason why we call the company fan base, the reason why I call the company fan base is because everybody is a fan of something. There's no person out here that is not a fan of something. It could be donuts, it could be wrestling, it could be in music, it could be all sorts of things. And so there's an opportunity for you guys to tap in and consume and entertain yourself with content that you normally wouldn't do that. So you yourself, if you set those 5 pieces of exclusive content up, it increases the opportunity that people would likely unlock one piece of content at a time and subscribe for the full month. Next up is creating an audio camp, number 7. So audio camps and fan base are communities. So think of an audio camp as an audio community based around a specific subject that you can decide what you want. So you can make an audio camp around politics or cooking or whatever it is that you want to make a camp around. Even be very, very specific. It could be a particular type of sport. It could be soccer, whatever it is, finance, be investing, and that's your community. And what that does is you're starting to build a community around interests and ideas that people align with. And what's important about that is communities will not only be just inside of audio in the future. Camps will be part of posts, stories, lives, long form content, and more on fan base. And so the more people you have, once you start to post that content for your community, then people can engage and respond and react to that. The next thing is tell, people that to download Fanbase. Community again is a part of this. Friends want to be where their friends are. So if you're over on Fanbase, bring your friends over to Fanbase, and bring more friends, and that helps you build your community, and make the platform something where you all can connect together, and especially in audio. Again, I think it's really cool that people have audio rooms. Don't think that you have to have the largest amount of people in the audio room to have fun in audio. Sometimes the most fun that I've ever had on this app is in a room full of 4 or 5, 6 people just having a great conversation and having fun. And so don't think you need massive amounts of large people in your audio rooms to have a good time. And then number 9, the last one, it encourage people to actually subscribe to you. You don't, in any platform where you have the ability to have subscription, especially the ones that aren't communities, the only subscribers you get are the ones you ask for, you market for. And I think that social media spent a good 20 years convincing people that their content doesn't have value. So it makes people feel afraid to ask to be paid for things when they're doing very, very complex things now. Again, when it was just food photos, I could understand it, but we're 15 years into this, and now people are putting videos together. They're using ring lights. They're using editing software and cameras and time and makeup and skits and dance routines and all these things. And so you are creating entertainment for people, but at the same time, giving that entertainment away for free on other apps and not necessarily saying, hey, will you support me? And the one thing that I tell people all the time is 95% of people are not going to support you, but that doesn't matter. It's a small community of people that do, that you can continue to build and scale that community and grow your subscriber base on fan base, grow your community. So those 9 things are the best practices. And again, if you don't do all 9, and this is what we say, if you don't do all 9, we cannot say that you will have the best experience on fan base when it comes to earning an engagement. Because people have to know that your content is here. People have to know that you're present and you have to be visible on the platform. So just make sure that you follow all 9 of those things and and hope for a better outcome than just doing some of them on fan base.
Awesome. So consistency is key, but I do want to read something that someone mentioned while you were saying all of this, and that's a living proof of what you just shared, Isaac. So I want to read Veronica Brooks. She said, "That is so true. I made $516.04 from Fanbase just posting. I didn't even know how it was just in my bank account. So it works. Consistency works. We have, which platform out there with, less than 300 followers, you can make $500 or more. And that's living proof that, Fanbase is for real. And as we grow, we'll continue getting better. And as long as you take at least the 9 steps that Isaac shared, you get closer to making money. So it makes me happy when I hear things like that.
I'm going to speak on something culturally that I don't think is talked about enough because I had a conversation with a friend of mine that wants to use fan base, and they reached out to me and said, Isaac, I just feel I don't want to feel like I'm begging, right? When I ask people to subscribe to me, and I was like, what do you mean? And I know sometimes I think I've seen people do that where they try to shame people for saying, hey, like asking to be paid for creating content, there's nothing wrong with that. And I think that the big mental mind game of thinking that you don't deserve to be paid for content that you create, especially if you consider yourself a content creator. And it doesn't mean you have to be rude. It doesn't mean you have to be mean, but supporting people and supporting your favorite creators is a language and a behavior that is becoming more and more common, especially with younger people. And I've seen that before. I've seen entrepreneurs say, I don't want to feel like I'm begging, even when it comes to raising money. It's like when other people go out and raise capital for their business, it's called raising capital. If some of us go out and raise capital for our businesses in the Black community, oh, you're begging for money. Don't let those negative tropes and stereotypes affect the reality that you have to ask to be paid for something that you do. There's no business or there's no person out here. There's not singers that are going out here and going to consistently do free shows forever. You have to be paid for the content that you make. You can't open any business and give your product away for free and expect to be a successful business. And if you consider yourself a content creator, then you are a business. And so if you don't approach with a business mindset, then it's going to be a lot harder. So make fun of the creators that have link in bio all the time, but trust and believe they're driving people to the places that they can then convert those users and those users on platforms and subscribers and monetize. And that's important. I think we have to get over the notion that your content does not have value. It does. Your content is interesting to someone. It is valuable to someone. It is up for you to stay diligent and consistent and grow and build that over and over again. And then it might not happen. It doesn't happen instantaneously. I know people that started on other platforms like in 2013 that took them 5, 6, 7 years to get to the point, but now they make enough money that they make 2 or 3 times as much as they would if they had a regular 9 to 5 job. And you can do that. And so the point is that don't be afraid to ask to be paid for the content that you create. Because that's the only way that you're going to get paid. Again, people can support you just because they want to, but you have to set that precedent and don't be afraid to do that.
I love it. That is true. And that's not only the present, it's not only the future, but it's the present. It's already happening. We're seeing it happening here in Fanbase. And again, as we grow, the social economy is the future for sure. All right.
Oh,
So we
yeah,
have
yeah.
so we have 4 minutes left. Let's do a brief recap for everyone that might have joined late. I'll let you do that, Isaac, and then we'll say goodbye with our Fanbase promise.
Of course. Well, shout out to everyone who has joined our fan base and investor town hall. During the course of this town hall, we have crossed $11.2 million raised for fan base. So that means I get to make one of those cool videos with confetti that talk about another milestone, which is great. It informs people, it keeps people motivated. So I'm excited to say that Fanbase is currently raising $17 million and a Regulation A equity crowdfund on Start Engine. The minimum to invest is $399. That gets you 60 shares of stock at Fanbase at 665 a share. And again, we've just crossed $11.2 million. Now, what I will say is that when we reach the $17 million goal, you will no longer be able to invest in Fanbase. The raise will close, and there will not be an opportunity to invest. And so, the sooner the better. Is for you to get equity in Fanbase, because after this, the valuation of Fanbase will change. Um, and we'll be moving on to bigger and better things. But the earlier you get in on these type of investments, the better. So if you want to invest, go to startengine.com/fanbase or invest.fanbase.app to be able to invest in Fanbase. And the minimum again is $399. And so we invite all of you to do that. Um, and there's a link at the top before we tap out. But there's a link at the top of the page if you want to invest in Fanbase.
All right. So I think you'll have to do, unless you want to make me a master moderator. Um,
Of
there we go.
course. Of
All
course.
right. let's let's do it. So thanks everyone again. We're gonna leave you with our Fanbase promise. Fanbase is not just a social economy platform; it's a movement. We are very keen on what we believe in. We try to put that into every single thing that we do, even in every single line of code that we build. So stay around to watch the Farmers Promise, and we'll see or we'll hear everyone next Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks, guys.